These two reminders which are being given are very essential areas, very basic, and mainly for all those who have already started taking initiative and started working intensely into bringing clarity and getting towards allowing a deeper process in their life. First reminder is, what way is the idea of the I, me, and mine coming in every interaction? Observe that. When you can observe this automatic reaction which is arising in you, not going with it, not going against it, not identifying with it, considering it, then you have the right distance when you can just watch it and not identify with it and simply be with energy in a different way. Then you have sufficient distance to allow your deeper intelligence, the sensibility of your heart, your creative potential to come into the moment, to come into your response. So it is, in other words, saying, don't blindly react. Instead, consciously respond. Bring this as an orientation in every interaction. Don't wait for any specific situation. In every interaction, bring this. Because unless your life is filled with this quality of alertness, which makes you free from the blind identification with this inner automatism, you are not going to be clear and free. And in this way, bringing light into these processes, you will see two things happen. One thing, you get more familiar with that what you are when you are not in the grip of this blind identification. And that is where you start realizing that your reality is of a different dimension, of a different depth. And in this state of connecting to the reality with the right inner distance, you become capable to experience the wonder. You become capable to experience the reality which otherwise we are used to taking for granted as not something to be taken for granted. And then naturally it will bring spontaneously a certain feeling of gratitude, a feel of wonder. So this is the direction, and that is why, even though this looks like a small exercise, when you work with it carefully and deeply, it has tremendous potential in it. And the second reminder is to realize that all knowledge, howsoever clever and big and important it looks, deep within, remember, it is an interpretation through the human mind to figure out, to come in terms with the reality which in itself cannot be grasped by our logical, rational mind. That is why the deeper you are aware, the deeper you come to realize that all knowledge is relative and It has a relevance in the game of the world, but one has to be using it very carefully, very wakefully. When it's about material things, about practical factors in the life, their knowledge of how certain things function, how the machines are working, all that can be valuable. You need to use the knowledge, you need to use the mind. But when it comes to understanding yourself, understanding life, understanding each other, you have to become aware of the limitation of the knowledge, because the knowledge is based on projections through the standards, through the values, through the concepts which we human beings have created. So, knowledge is about and around reality, but not capable to assimilate, to grasp, where we can really say, yes, I know it completely. No, we just know something around and about it. Why I am insisting on this remembrance is that once you can see that, once you can feel it, once it is coming very deeply in your remembrance, immediately you realize all judgments are simply a projection. It is not the truth. And what happens then? When you are judging somebody and you realize that it is not the truth, it is only a projection through my past, then you will consider it differently. You will not follow it blindly, you will not fight against it blindly, and you give yourself a little more space to understand the other. It opens the door for sympathetic consideration, compassionate way of looking. So that is a second reminder, and in a way it is very interconnected with the first one also, but it will be good if you can bring both these aspects in your day-to-day living and look what way you can assimilate it, because you have to yourself bring in different situations which is most applicable and work with it. It will be working together with it. It can be very significant. It can be very deeply valuable, because these are very basic factors, and all those who are really wanting to not waste the time just passing it in engaging oneself with the mundane process, but want to rise through it all, ripen through it all, to get clear, to get free, and to live the life authentically, lovingly, joyously, then these are very valuable supports.